Hey booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. I really need your help with what I'm gonna read for the rest of the year, particularly in November, because of course November is also Nonfiction November, a annual event hosted by a book olive. I will link to her announcement video down below. If you're not familiar with Nonfiction November, it's essentially an event to try to encourage people to read more nonfiction. And really all you have to do is read one nonfiction book in November to participate. She does have prompts, and the prompts are just one word. So you could really shape whatever you read to fit the prompts if you wanted to. I tend to ignore these prompts, but I do find them intriguing. So the 4 prompts are record, element, border, and secret. So I have read 47 books this year. 10 of them have been nonfiction. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. In addition to trying to come up with a Nonfiction November TBR, I still have books on my high priority TBR for 2022. And unfortunately, I did not save all the nonfiction on that list. I don't know why. I had at least 4 nonfiction books, I'm sure, on that. The only high priority nonfiction book I have left, because I am going to save one of them for next year, but I do intend to read Paris to the Past by Ina Caro, and this is traveling through French history by train. And I have wanted to read this for a long time. I think on my Goodreads account for this channel, which you can find the link down to below, this is the oldest book on that TBR, and so yeah, time to read this, and I'm looking forward to it. This is on my high priority TBR, and it's nonfiction, so somehow, some way, I will be participating. So let me go through the rest of my high priority TBR, and then I will talk to you about some of the books I'd really like to get to in November. There's way too many. But so I'm currently reading one of my high priority books, which is Dr. Thorne by Anthony Trollope. I am loving this book, but it is chunky and big, and I am never gonna just wait until October to read Anthony Trollope again. But anyway, so I do have to finish this book. And then I also had a buddy read scheduled with one of you, Laura, if you're watching. Are we still gonna read In the Name of the Rose, which is again a pretty big chunky book, but I would still love to read this with you in November, so please let me know. Anyway, and so this is one of my high priority books for the year. The other nonfiction book that I have left on my high priority TBR that I'm gonna save for next year, because of course whatever I don't read on the high priority TBR rolls on to next year's high priority TBR. But this is The Oregon Trail by Rinker Buck, and I live, I grew up in and around a lot of Oregon Trail markers. And so what I'd like to do ideally is read this in the spring and then make a review video and actually film part of the review in some of the places where the Oregon Trail is at. Who knows? Like maybe I'll even be able to interview somebody who works at the Trails Museum here. But anyway, the Oregon Trail is definitely a big part of Wyoming's history, and like I said, there are a lot of markers all over the place. So this one I'm going to read in 2023. The other books left on my high priority TBR are all fiction. So again, give me your advice. So I've got My Name is Asher Lev by Chaim Potek, which some of you really encouraged me to read I think at the end of 2020, and I still haven't done it. I stole this old beat up paperback at my parents' house, but I do want to read it. I do want to read it. The next one is The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. This would be a reread for me, mainly because I just want to make sure I still like it. Jason read it after me and read aloud some of the passages in it that did make me cringe a little bit. So I just want to reread it and make sure that it is a book that should be taking up space on my shelves, because as you know, I don't have enough room. The next is The Orchardist by Amanda Copeland. And I know someone who, when they read this, told me it was their new favorite book. And then a bunch of you were trying to get me to read it earlier this year. And so I really do want to read this. But again, it's fiction. So, and then finally, this is also a book I've owned a long time. This is The Saga of Gosta Berling by Selma Lagerlöf. And she won the Nobel Prize for literature. Oh, and yeah, this is what it is. So, this is the Swedish, some people describe this as the Swedish Gone with the Wind. Which would be interesting to read, because I did read Gone with the Wind at the beginning of the year, and now it's just kind of like, oh, well, maybe we could end the year this way. So I would like, again, I've owned this for a long time, and I would like to get to it. We'll see. So that is the rest of the high priority TBR. As you can see, I'm not going to get to everything. And especially if I read some more nonfiction in November, and I have so much that I want to read. So let me show you a few things, some of which you've seen, some of which you haven't. This is Unsolaced by Gretel Ehrlich. So preface here, the reason it's called Unsolaced is one of her first or earliest books is called The Solace of Open Spaces, which takes place, it's a nonfiction book that takes place in Wyoming. This is a really slim little book, but the writing is just lovely, excellent. And then one of you wonderful people sent this book to me, I feel like in 2020. And I think she travels around the world in this book, talking about, I think a lot of it has to do with climate change. So if I don't read it this year, it's going to be on my high priority list for the next year. The next one is The Master about Roger Federer. This is by Christopher Clary. Roger Federer retired from tennis this year, so there's a part of me that wants to read this for Nonfiction November and just read it read it in the same year that he retired. I never got to see him play live, but I watched many of his matches on TV, and he really just moved differently than everyone else. He was just so graceful, and I just really, really love Roger Federer. And so anyway, so I would like to get to this. I don't know if it's gonna happen this year. The next one is This Much Is True by Miriam Margolyes, which came out in the US at least this year. And Jason gave it to me. I also have a notebook that says, sorry, I wasn't listening. I was thinking about Miriam Margolyes. But anyway, she's so funny, and I feel like, yeah, I could use a laugh. So it would be very unusual for me to read a book. And again, it's chunky. I'm not sure. I mean, there are pictures and there's some white space, so it's possible. I'm mainly looking for something that I could read alongside like Trollope and Umberto Eco, and any other novels. What else could I read alongside them? So anyway, I think this is going to be fantastic. And again, if I don't get to it this year, definitely will want to read it in 2023. Another book along the same lines that I bought at the beginning of this year in 2022, Let's Pretend This Never Happened by Jenny Lawson. I read her book Broken and thought it was hysterical and bought her 2 other books. So I'd like to read this one first. And I know kind of her sense of humor. But yeah, God, Broken, which shouldn't have made me laugh, but it was just wild. So anyway, it did make me laugh out loud, and yeah, I could, like I said, I'm in need of a laugh, so that might be really fun. Okay, these last ones are just really wild cards here. This is another book that's been on a TBR for a very long time, Talking to Girls About Duran Duran. This is by Rob Sheffield, who also wrote Love is a Mixtape. And this is One Young Man's Quest for True Love and a Cooler Haircut. And I believe these are just essays. And there's a song with each of them. So I think this would be fun. I got this with my eBay gift certificate that I won at the beginning of the year. And so again, it's just something that I would really like to read. A couple other books that I bought or got within the last year or two. They both have foxes on them. So The Fox and I, An Uncommon Friendship by Catherine Raven, and Rough Beauty, 40 Seasons of Mountain Living by Karen Ovenin. Not sure I'm saying that right, but both these books are really calling to me. I want to read them. And again, I'm just not sure if they're the kind of books that I could read part of and then set it down and pick up a novel. I don't know, but I was telling somebody, I was talking to one of you guys in the comments section about, my spirit animal, and I was like, oh, it might be a fox because they keep cropping up. And anyway, so those are 2 possibilities. And then the last one, this is, I recently attempted to do the Western Canon book tag, and one of the books I talked about was the Bible. This is a book I've owned for so long. Why haven't I read this? This is called In the Beginning, The Story of the King James Bible and How It Changed a Nation, a Language, and a Culture by Alistair McGrath. Beautiful cover. It's not that long, but it is about the King James Bible, so might be a little bit dense. I'm mainly intrigued because there's a lot of speculation that Shakespeare helped to write the King James Bible. So that's mainly what's driving me and my curiosity to pick this book up. But again, I've owned it for so long. Like, why haven't I read this? So, all right, I really need your help, you guys. So let me know what you think I should be reading. I do have a special selection of Christmas books that I will be reading closer to that time, in December and closer to the holidays. So I'm gonna do a poll if you guys want to see a TBR of that in November or in December, because if there's something you see on there that you want to buy and you want to read, like, I want to give you time to do that, but if not, like, it's fine, we can do it in December. And it's not a huge TBR, and I don't think some things will take one of them will take me a little bit longer, but yeah, for the most part, they'll be short and fun. But I'm super excited to share those books with you. So those are also kind of playing in the back of my mind, like, oh, I'm gonna read those as well before the year is out. So help me plan my TBR, you guys. Let me know down below what you think I should read. Should I care about how many books I carry over to 2023? Yeah, if there's something really special that you saw that you think I need to make a priority for the last 2 months of the year, let me know. Booktube, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm so excited to hear from you in the comment section. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, please feel free to leave an emoji, or you can give this video a thumbs up. Booktube, I'll be back with another book video soon. Bye.